Welcome to Sunshine Cathedral's Queer God Squad. It's Tuesday, March 4th. I am Bishop Darrell Watkins, the senior minister here at Sunshine Cathedral. With me today is Bishop Robert Griffin, Reverend Dr. Ann Atwell, and Reverend Kevin Tisdall, all of whom minister with me here at Sunshine Cathedral. Visit sunshinecathedral.org to learn more about Sunshine Cathedral. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram. We also have our own YouTube channel. And if you live in South Florida, be sure to check out the Sunshine Cathedral Center for the Performing Arts, offering entertainment for the LGBTQ+ community to benefit the LGBTQ+ community. Queer God Squad was created by Hotspots Happening Out to support our mission to explore the value of faith in the LGBTQ community. There is no streaming TV show like this in the entire world. In 2025, we are celebrating the 40th anniversary of Hotspots Magazine, the 5th anniversary of Queer News Tonight with nearly 10,000 stories and 10 million views in 2024. We will produce the 25th anniversary of Stonewall Pride Parade and Festival on June 14th. Pride Fed, Diversity Pride in August, and now the near 50th anniversary of Pride Fort Lauderdale in February. We are the largest nonprofit LGBTQ media organization in America, and we encourage you to support our mission to inform, entertain, and educate our community and allies. The Queer God Squad is unique in that we apply critical thought to religion while still embracing what is good about religion, and all in support of the LGBTQIAA+ community. If you enjoy the Queer God Squad, help us reach more people by sharing this or other episodes with your friends, family, and social media communities.
This is the Sunshine Cathedral Perspective. Site of trans rebellion, now a registered historic place. A San Francisco address that was once the site of pre-Stonewall transgender uprising has been added to the National Register of Historic Places. The National Park Service added the building on Taylor Street in San Francisco's Tenderloin neighborhood to its list of historic U.S. places worthy of preservation on January 27, without any public statement or press release, the Bay Area Reporter first reported. The address was the location of Compton's Cafeteria in the 1960s. One night in August 1966, a riot broke out at the all-night diner between its trans and queer patrons and police after a drag queen threw a coffee at a cop who was trying to arrest her. There was property damage amid the protest against police harassment. In 2017, San Francisco designated an area in the Tenderloin the nation's first transgender historic district. The site is likely the first landmark to be registered specifically for its connection to the history of the transgender community. And this 1966 protest occurred 3 years before Stonewall. Liberation, empowering the marginalized, people finding their voice and claiming their agency are all acts of holiness because they contribute to the experience of wholeness. And the Queer God Squad blesses the memories of the Compton Cafeteria freedom fighters. We celebrate this recognition of the site during this awful time when trans people are being bullied by their own government. We don't know how the site slipped under the radar, but hallelujah, it did. Well, there are so many stories out there in our world that we really don't know much about. So to have this one finally bubble up to the top, it's a positive thing. And we need as much positive news as we can get during this time. There's no way to sugarcoat what's going on in America. We have a government that is hell-bent on making a large part of its population disappear, an even larger part of our population disappear. And I think that we have a responsibility to ensure that it doesn't happen. We have to be loud. We have to be aggressive in our passive resistance to ensure that no one gets left behind. We've been talking a lot about the resistance. And this part of the resistance is something that people may not be paying a lot of attention to. You've got agencies that are taking T and Q from nomenclature. All of a sudden, it's just LGB. The trans queer intersex plus community, none of that community is going anywhere. They're not going to disappear simply because you take a letter off of an agency letterhead. So thank you, San Francisco, for always being out there in the front, doing the stuff that the rest of us should be doing and reminding us that we can do it. So thank you, San Francisco.
Yeah. There's something I've seen on the internet a lot, on the socials. It says something like, we're not forcing anything on you. People just exist. You know, like, these people just exist. Some people just really are transgender or non-binary or pansexual or gay or lesbian or asexual, or people just exist. And it's too bad that in our country, maybe in the world, but certainly in our country, if you're not part of the dominant privileged class, your day comes where you have to fight for recognition.
Yeah.
And then if you get it, if you ever take it for granted, you might lose it again. And so that's the way our thing is set up. And so I am encouraged to see, before there were even noticeable inroads, before there were any legal battles to protect it, that this group that just stood up one day and said, not today. You know, like this happens all the time, and I just can't today. And they stood up. And that's the lesson, though. We don't have to throw coffee, but but to stand up, say something, and don't let our history be, like, everyone probably knows about Stonewall, although I'm afraid there's some young people who don't. Fix that. But like, even people who know about Stonewall may not know that a few years earlier there was almost the exact same thing happened on the other coast, and I'd heard about it, but not this level of detail.
Right.
And I forget about it.
Yeah.
And so, but now that I've heard so much detail, I don't think I will forget it. And so, yeah, if you're not in the dominant group, that just makes your story that much more precious. So make sure it's heard. Make sure it's told. And if you've done something amazing, somebody in your community done something amazing, and there's lots of trans people and gay people and African American people and Latin American people and they have amazing histories. Don't let that history be lost, because there's a concerted effort right now to erase history, because they think if you erase your history, they've erased or at least silenced you. Keep the history alive. Tell these stories. So learn about this Compton thing, and then tell it. Tell it. Post it. Same thing with Stonewall. Same thing with marriage equality, 2015. These things that they want to erase, step one is to erase it from the history, so they can erase it from the present. And we can stop that by just not being silent. Speak up. Tell your story. Stand up. You don't have to throw coffee, but make sure somebody knows about this thing who did. Get up and tell it.
That might be the battle cry for this world right now. Not today. Just that.
Yeah, not today. And you know, when you think of the gay rights movement, the queer rights movement, you think of Stonewall automatically. That's where most of us go. But when things like that occur, there's usually something that has preceded it. You know, there's usually stories behind that. And this Compton story was one. And I'm actually heartened by the fact that the Department of Interior recognized this. So may it be so. Learn
It
these.
was January, just
Right in that time.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know, when I think about this story, like you're all talking about, you know, I think about Stonewall. My mind also goes to the New Orleans fire.
Yes.
Where a nightclub was burned and several people killed, and there's a plaque that's on the sidewalk there, and that actually have a historical connection with the Metropolitan Community Churches. And now there's this one. So I want to issue a call to action, people. If you're out and about in any of these historical places, take a photo and post it on Facebook.
Pulse at Orlando.
Pulse at Orlando.
Any of them.
When you're at any of these places, because it's important that these places are documented and people know what these places are. So my call to action for you, if you're watching this, wherever you are around the globe, if there is a historical marker of a LGBTQ, whatever, where something's happening, official or not.
Lady Shibley's Club in Savannah.
Yeah.
Take a photo.
Whatever. Just take a photo and post it on Facebook, and then it's up to us to do our research around that to find out why that place is significant. You know, when we was in Jamaica several years ago, we did a pilgrimage to all the sites where murders had taken place of gay men and women. And I still look at those photos sometimes as a reminder of how horrible those visits were. And here in America, we got some of those same places. You know, Matthew Shepard, just comes to mind. The recent one that was that happened not too long ago in New York and Connecticut. Just take photos. I want this documented. So every attempt by this administration to erase us, we remind them we are still here and we're not going anywhere. And we have left our footprints in history to say that we're not going anywhere. So that's my call to action to you. Photo bomb Facebook with our LGBT history every day of the week.
Bishop Robert has just ordained you a historian. You are now an ordained historian, and it is your job, it is your ministry to document these stories and tell them.
I love it.
They want to erase history, we just become historians. That'll learn them, darn them.
Absolutely.
Well, that's today with the Queer God Squad.
Before we go, we want to invite you to join Sunshine Cathedral on a wonderful experience and help our mission for our community. Join us on the Florida AIDS Walk Pride Cruise. This unique 3-day cruise will sail from Miami on the $1 billion and ultra-deluxe 170,000-ton MSC Seascape on November 2nd, 2025. The cruise is for the Florida AIDS Walk. Your participation helps 13 vital beneficiaries in our community. The cruise is an incredible value, starting at just $199, and is also a fundraiser for the Sunshine Cathedral. Parties, special events, and more aboard, including a special unlimited beverage and open bar with Wi-Fi for all 3 days for just $68. We invite you to join us on this amazing cruise for fun, this vital cruise for good.
Thank you for joining the Queer God Squad. We are here daily at 3 p.m. to have some fun and to discuss what our LGBTQ community is talking about.
Sunshine Cathedral is the world's leading progressive queer church. Progressive, queer, and God are words that naturally should go together. Remember that. We are all in this together.
Also remember, you are God's miracle, not God's mistake. Until next time, We are the Queer God Squad.
Goodbye.